I don't remember the dates exactly, but a few years ago there was that trend with AI filters and how they turn you into art, let's say. And a lot of people started to join in. ChatGPT appeared, and since then AI has just become part of daily life of almost everyone, and we constantly see it in the wild, let's say. And I don't want to see AI art anywhere. I forgot to add something, so this is me from the future, but I want to mention when I say art and artists, I don't just mean visual artists that draw and paint, etc. I mean musicians, writers, um, painters, etc. Everything creative, because AI replaces all of it. So yeah, just have that in mind, because I will be saying a lot of artist, 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 art. Music is art, poetry is art, writing books is art, everything is art. Human existence can be art as well, jewelry making, etc. But, well, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. And actually what really sparked my need to talk about this is I was on Vinted, which, if you're from America or somewhere else where Vinted doesn't exist, it's like you have your own Depop and Macari, something like that. It's just a platform where people sell different things, and usually secondhand clothes or antiques, etc. And so on my explore page, where they show what you probably would be interested in buying, I see this shit. I'm gonna blur the name of the person. And yes, indeed, it is very unique, a very unique plate. I don't understand what possessed this person to take, because you can see that the plate itself was like probably just a normal plate, maybe an antique one. I assume that the person just went to an antique store, bought this plate for maybe €1, and then put this AI slop on top of it and called it unique and sold it with a 1500% markup. Yeah, the weirdest thing is that she has a lot of those, and they're selling apparently. So that is neither here or there, but just saying. I needed to film this because of that. I was very frustrated. So first, let's talk a bit about AI itself. So people like Elon Musk, which is a derogatory term, by the way, people like that have always promised you that AI will be there to replace all of the manual, boring labor so that people can focus on being their creative selves and their beautiful lives and their talents. And the first thing that we see that AI replaces is actual artists, because, of course, why would a business commission someone $50 when they can do a little prompt in ChatGPT and create amazing art like this? I I fully encourage AI use in those manual work situations where no one wants to do those types of jobs, and where they can actually benefit people and make them more and give them more time to actually discover their passions and their talents and their hobbies, and etc, etc. But that is not how AI is used. Another usage of AI that I find quite good is AI in medicine, because it can recognize patterns better than we do, because it has huge amount of data. If a doctor or a scientist studies their entire life, they still can't process as much data as AI algorithms can. So in those medical fields, I think it should be used, and it can benefit. But AI replacing artists and musicians, etc., it's just very strange. To me, art has to have a soul, and we can have, of course, a discussion. Maybe AI will get a soul later on, and it will be part of the society and whatever. It is not there yet, so we're not discussing the rights and wrongs of AI, artificial intelligence, and if they have their own, how do you call it, consciousness? Yeah, that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about ChatGPT and other image generating services as well. I also have my Earl Grey rose tea. It's just Earl Grey and I added some rose petals, which is very nice. I also think that one of the bigger problems is that a lot of companies that are very hungry for profits see AI as something to replace their workers and to replace commissioning artists. And then what you get is horrible AI slop. And not even just that, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of websites no longer have support. They have chatbots, which are never helpful, and then you fight with the chatbot for 30 minutes to actually get to a human person that solves your problem in 5 minutes, let's say. Sometimes when it is Instagram support, they never solve your problem and actually delete your account, never give it back, and then I have so many members in that account, and I had like a certain K followers there, so matter. We're going into very specific moments, we're going into details and personal anecdotes, so yeah. AI becomes better by consuming all of the art that is available on the internet and just making it into a Frankenstein monster of a sort. It's just, yeah, it's just corrupted, like amalgamation of stuff of artists. And back in the day, they can also find even the signatures of actual artists in AI art because it wasn't that good yet, and it's just, yeah, it just put the signatures there. So that started a lot of court proceedings as well. If you're an artist, you can actually try and prevent it. Not every social media app allows it to be preventable, but on Instagram, for example, recently you can go in the settings. I will put the screenshot here, and then you can make sure that they don't use your data for their AI training systems. But I mean, most people probably are not gonna sign that, and then it's not really, most people probably are not gonna sign that, and then it's probably not gonna help, but we can still try, and then your art is not gonna be in the system, so that is better than nothing. So I encourage you to take some time today and do that and check other social media apps, etc., that you use, and if they have those options. If you use something like Adobe, I would look for an alternative because, first of all, they're so expensive. I stopped paying for their subscription. It was getting out of hand, and then they also tried to give me a cancellation fee, which was like 300 euros or something, which I didn't pay. I started a new subscription and canceled that one. So you can jump through the hoops like that. But there is a lot of good alternatives like DaVinci Resolve, and try to look for stuff that doesn't require a subscription, but maybe it's a one-time payment. Now, let's go into a bit more negative side of things. I do believe that AI is just inevitable. There are so many different businesses that do not care about the rights of the artist or whatever else AI disregards and disrespects. And I think that we're at the crossroads right now, just like our ancestors were, like our parents and our grandparents. The most recent one is smartphones. Even like 2008, I would say, is the year when smartphones became a thing. So people back then, they were thinking, what is the point of a smartphone? I just use my phone to call. And now smartphones are such an important part of everyone's life. Without it, you're a bit handicapped because you can't use your banking apps, you can't use public transport apps, you can't access your documents, you can't scan QR codes, you can't do anything without your phone. So it became just part of everyone's life. Sure, there are people who don't use phones, I mean smartphones, but yeah, it makes your life much harder. And I believe that it will be just like that with artificial intelligence. And to go further back, let's say the invention of internet or industrial revolution, those were also life-changing, and some people adapted and some people were left behind. So I do think that artificial intelligence is the next step in those. But I have to say that the good thing is that there are probably going to be more and more laws, just like with the industrial revolution, that make sure that AI cannot be used in a way that it is used now. I actually don't think that it is ready to be used yet, but a lot of those companies are funded by investors, so they need to show how many people are you actually using ChatGPT, and it doesn't matter that it lies in like every second answer that it gives you. Very, actually, very good, like very convincing lies. Yeah, as part of my university study, they even told us to like never use that as uh, how do you call it, as a source, which makes sense, of course, and to just always try and check yourself. But what is annoying is that even Google now, just you Google something and the first thing is their AI bullshit that is usually incorrect. On the bright side, I think that this will lead to actually glamorization of human-made art, and this might even lead us to new era of humanism in art. So I think it will immediately bring more value to those who actually try and make something themselves, try to learn the skill and draw and make music or whatever else AI is trying to replace. I do think that there will be new opportunities and more niches that will appear, and I think human-made art will be put a bit on a pedestal and will be seen as more real, which it is, and perhaps it might lead to people being able or actually willing to pay a higher price for art that is made by an artist. But of course, I do believe that there will be a bit less demand for it, but the demand that will be there is going to be higher. It is the same as factory production now and more artisan work. While factory production is most of, like, for example, clothes that we have or furniture, um, kitchenware, etc., there are still artisans that create them by hand, and then the price is much, much higher, but people are willing to pay it because they can see all the effort and the time and the skills that went to this work. And I do think that nowadays a lot of art, people just are so bloated with it because artists are so visible now with social media that they just don't value art anymore. And I think that this AI slopification of art will actually bring it back a bit, like the more glamorous version of an artist. I also have a bit of a cope moment here, but I do think that if a company decides to work with AI instead of an artist, you probably didn't really miss out, because if they choose profits, they would probably try to scam you as well and pay you as little as possible, so you didn't really lose anything. As a lot of those companies just want constant growth, and constant growth is just not really achievable. Look at our planet that has limited resources, and just everything fluctuates a lot, which is one of the things that I don't really understand about the system that we have built, where we're expected to constantly grow people as well. It's just not really sustainable. But I would suggest you to try and build a community around your art and just talk to other artists, be in contact with all of them. And if you consume art, just consume real art and try to buy it, try to support artists and nourish their talent, because everyone needs money to live, you know. So what can you do? As I mentioned before, on different apps you can actually sign some forms for your content not to be used in the AI training systems, but that is a pretty small step, and it is more about yourself and your choices and about protecting your data. But what else I would suggest is actually to try to go a more political route and try to research and support people and politicians and parties in your country, in your government, in your region, that try to make rules that have something to do with artificial intelligence, how it can be used, how it should be restricted, etc. When companies ask you for feedback, I know it seems like it's kind of pointless, but they still collect it. Probably AI collects it. Just mention that you do not want the use of AI. So many companies, actually bigger ones, started using AI and then turned back because people just were not happy with how that turned out. The biggest protest that you can participate in is actually still making art, because not giving up and saying, well, I'm very replaceable, no one is gonna use my art because everyone will just like ask ChatGPT to draw and it will draw better than me, whatever. No, that is not correct. You still have more soul in your art immediately, even if it's not bad. Art is so subjective. There is, it's quite like, okay, there is beginner art. It's not as good probably as later on, but and it is still miles and miles ahead of just typing a few things on your computer and being, okay, done, art made. If you are a business owner, please, or like an artist and you need an album cover or a book cover, etc., just hire someone real, hire an artist and make sure that they are an actual artist, because I feel like sometimes you get scammed. You want a real art piece and you get AI slop and you don't even know that it is AI. Which sucks. Why would you do that? But whatever, there is a lot of con artists everywhere. Making art is the biggest protest that you can participate in, and it just immortalizes you as well, be it with your family or with people around you who enjoyed your art. If you do want to use AI and participate in that whole system, because, well, it's not going anywhere, do use it for just the manual tasks that are boring, that take a lot of time. Maybe if you want to do some research, ask it some main questions. It will give you the answer, and then you can research on that answer yourself further with sources, like good sources, etc. I do really hope that a lot of social media apps and things like that create a filter where you can choose not to see AI generated content, because they do have recognition systems that recognize AI created art, but then it is not implemented in any way, I guess. Yeah, the last thing that I want to say, encouraging words. Artificial intelligence might seem very scary to an artist. It might seem like it's pointless to improve your skills now, but it never is pointless. And as I said, I think it will open up more doors. It will close some, quite a lot probably, but it will open others. And you just improve your craft every day and just communicate with people that value the same things as you, that believe in artists and in humanity, humanism. And when AI does take over every job in the world, well, surely we're not just gonna exist and not do anything, because I think we as humans always have a drive in us to create something, to leave our mark. My camera actually died, so I think the AI overlords just turned my electricity off. But what I was trying to say is that I believe that part of our humanity is just the innate want to create something and leave our mark. It immortalizes you in some ways, and I think that if AI replaces all of the work, there will be maybe like a Dune moment when people will start a war on machines. But yeah, I just think that the creativity will always prevail, because that is the only reason we're here, basically. We're really not here to go to the office and work a 9 to 5. We're here to create something and experience this life. And we can't experience it without being human and consuming things that were created by other humans. And AI art is kind of like the fast food of artistic movements. I wouldn't even say fast food. Fast food still has real ingredients. But let's go with that comparison. And yeah, it just doesn't nourish you. It doesn't have the same values as actual food. Same goes with AI. And I believe you probably are an artist if you're watching this, so I encourage you to create more, continue creating more, and I will do the same. I am currently writing a book, and sometimes it seems like there is a lot of actually books and music written by AI now, and they sell them on Amazon, etc. They can make like 100 books in a day, and then sometimes I'm like, well, why am I taking months to write a book when AI can just write it in a day? But then it is my experience, it is my words, it is something that I came up with myself. and that is very valuable in my mind. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little conversation that we had. Do let me know what you think about this whole development in AI and what you think about it. Do you agree with me? I hope that you do. And subscribe to my channel, like this video, watch my other videos. I have a few.